do a thing.
Where's the rest of your platoon?
Wasted, Sarge.
And we will be too, sir, if we don't get the hell out of here.
You hit Marine?
No, sir.
Then listen up. The chief is gonna jump in this tank, roll across the bridge, and blow up any inhuman son of a bitch dumb enough to get between him and the Prophet of Regret. Pull yourself together, because you're going with it.
What about that scarab?
We've all run the simulations. They're tough, but they ain't invincible. Stay with the Master Chief. He'll know what to do.
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
Thanks for the tank. He never gets me anything.
Oh, I know what the ladies like.
Welcome everybody, Josh here today, back at again today with a brand new Halo 2 video game review. Today we're talking about this, which is Halo 2, the Anniversary Edition on the Xbox Series S and X, which is also part of the Master Chief Collection. Now, as you guys know, I'm a massive fan of the Halo franchise. I've been basically playing Halo ever since Halo 2 came out on the original Xbox, and actually played Halo 2 before I went back and played Halo CE, and then I finished all the rest of the games in the franchise. And Halo is easily one of those video game franchises like with sort of, Uncharted and God of War and Killzone and Resistance and some of those other video game classics from the past that I come to when I need something that makes me feel good, that I can kind of play for a couple hours, have a really fun time in terms of the single player campaign, as well as the multiplayer, which is also featured in the Halo 2 Anniversary Edition, as well as the OG Halo 2. And I think that this game really revolutionized not only Xbox, but single player storytelling in video games. I think that when this game came out originally, nobody was really expecting the level of storytelling and the cinematic scope that this game really did have in terms of being compared to something like Star Wars or even some other famous movie franchises out there. This was really the peak of the Halo franchise in my own personal opinion. A lot of people like to say that Halo 3 is that peak, but I think that Halo 2 and Halo CE were two of the greatest games ever made. I'm going to be discussing you guys that in this review. So this video game takes place in the 26th century. Humans are basically at war with the Covenant. The Covenant are basically trying to take over other colonized worlds that the UNSC is basically taking control over, and they're trying to basically start a Halo rings, which they activate all of the rings, and they're able to take out humanity and all life that lives in the universe. It's kind of Thanos-style threat if you're thinking about it in terms of the MCU, and basically the Halo rings were created so that way they could stop the Flood, and the Flood are this advancing infectious form that's basically taken over other colonized worlds to make its way towards Earth, and it's called the Great Journey by the alien race that is basically featured within this game, Covenant. And the Covenant are basically a hierarchical, genocidal alien race that basically only cares about itself and it wants to create sort of this world where the Covenant are basically the sole rulers of the entire universe, and to do that they need to activate the rings, or at least they think so, and basically their entire sort of religious faith relies on. I think that this game is really cool because it takes place in the 2552, and you got Master Chief gets his weapons, that what you see in the opening act of this video game. Cairo Station is basically attack the Covenant, as well as these new flying creatures that come into play in terms of the buggers, which are what they call, the UNSC calls the flying creatures in this game. And I really do like the fact they introduced new weapons, such as the battle rifle, the SMGs, pretty much the newer weapon that Master Chief uses throughout the entirety of this game. The battle rifle is basically this assault rifle style weapon, but it's got a semi-automatic couple of shot bursts, whereas the assault rifle in sort of the first game of the franchise, and pretty much when it was brought back throughout the entirety of the Halo franchise as well, was basically an automatic weapon. And while I like the assault rifle in that game, I think that with the aesthetic they're going for with this game, which is a little bit more realistic in terms of the human worlds they actually go to, which one of the missions is Zanzibar, and it's pretty cool because you get to pilot a tank for the first time. We get to pilot a tank, which is basically the Scorpion class battle tank, and it's got this turret on the top of it. We're going to take out sort of enemy vehicles, as well as basically ghosts and banshees as it's flying along the map. And then from there on out, kind of get the alien Covenant worlds. Basically Master Chief is trying to stop the Covenant as well as the Flood from advancing, and then you get that really cool cliffhanger ending where Master Chief is basically asked by Lord Hood what he's doing on sort of that ship. He's like, "Sir, finishing this fight." It got really good in terms of playing this game so much. I played it about 3 years straight of Halo 2 on the original Xbox, then later on the other consoles that this game was featured on, to the point where I could basically quote every single line of dialogue in this. It's one-liners. Sergeant Johnson is another character that has really badass one-liners in this game, which is really shocking to kind of see that a Halo TV series from Paramount actually forgot about throughout the entirety of the TV show, which, maybe at some point I will do a review of on my channel, but I really don't have a Paramount Plus account, and that's mostly due to the fact they ruined the lore that's in this. And then you got that really cool mission where it takes place on the Halo ring. Master Chief, as well as Sergeant Johnson and Miranda Keyes, they discover that there's a new Halo ring. They're going to descend on it, and then you get that really cool fight scene with the Prophet, where Master Chief takes out, I think it's the Prophet of Mercy, and then Truth basically comes to power, and then instills sort of the Brutes towards the end of the franchise. The Brutes basically take over for the Covenant Arbiter, the elites, basically ran the show for Halo CE as well as most of Halo 2. And that's one of the things that really sets up the story from the rest, is you get to see the progression of this new character called the Arbiter, played by Keith David. And Keith David is a really great actor in his own right, in Armageddon, a whole bunch of other movies like The Thing. And I really do like Keith David, and whenever he shows up to a video game or a movie, something like, he always makes the property that he's in that much better. And this game actually has a lot of really great talent in terms of voice actors and actors in it. You've got Master Chief, played by Steve Downes. You've got Miranda Keyes, voice actress, which I don't really know the name off the top of the hat. You've got Sergeant Johnson, who does a really great job in this game as well, delivering really great and classic one-liners, kind of like Owenna with The Lady's Life, which I'll probably end up showing the 80-roll footage of that in this video. You've also got Ron Perlman, who plays Lord Hood, who does a really great job at this as well. You kind of see the progression of all these characters with the single-player storytelling of this game, and I think that's what makes this game really special, is the fact that it does so many unique things. It's got so many globe-trotting, exploration levels where explore a little bit on Cairo Station. When it's attacked, you get to see Earth a little bit. Earth was supposed to have a much bigger role in the game until it kind of got cut out, and basically they made a third game of the franchise so that way they could kind of explore more Earth and kind of what happens to Earth when it's attacked the Covenant. You get to see a little bit more from the backstory with Arbor, who basically is disgraced, basically leader of their order, and see kind of him realizing that the religion that he believes in was wrong, and that he must fight back against the Covenant in order to kind of save his people and things that he believes as well. And I think that all of that kind of crescendos into a really great collection in terms of this game. And I think that Halo 2, if that game failed, would not have ushered in a new age for the Halo franchise and kind of given us multiple different iterations of the franchise afterwards. And I think it's all due to the fact that Halo 2 was as good as it was, which kind of made people, really crave Halo 3 when it came out, especially with that cliffhanger ending when Lord Hood is like, Master Chief, what are you doing on that ship? He's like, sir, finishing this fight. You got really great combat scenarios with Zanzibar. You've got some of the Covenant worlds that you explore, as well as the Flood missions, which are a little bit frustrating, kind of annoying to kind of fight through like they were in Halo CE. And I think that if you played Halo CE, you kind of know that at the beginning of the game, it's really kind of lighthearted. Everything's kind of like an action-adventure war film. And then towards the middle of the game, they get that war element with the Flood when they return. And then afterwards, it becomes that action-adventure scenario again. You've also got this mission where Master Chief has to board a scare that's attacking Zanzibar, as well as the Earth, where you've got Covenant glass planets and stuff like that, and taking over colonized worlds, and Master Chief is trying to stop. This really feels like humans have their backs up against the wall, which even the creators themselves of this franchise kind of state that's basically what they're going for in terms of Halo 2. And then it kind of crescendos, like I said before, to the climax, which I think that even though it was a cliffhanger ending, when this game came out in 2004, nobody really cared. I think the fact that it does leave a little bit more open is a really great idea, because then you can explore that in a future game, which they eventually did. And while I think that the campaign for Halo 3 is a little bit short compared to Halo CE and Halo 2, I still really love the Halo 2 campaign. I think that all of the one-liners, all the worlds, places you get to discover in terms of going to different planets is really cool. The different biomes, the music that happens in sort of this game with Marty O'Donnell's score and Joseph Staten's writing. Without those two key players, I don't think the story would be as good as it was. And the music in this is so great that I actually bought the soundtrack when it came out, and I actually still have the soundtrack on iTunes. And I basically listen to that while driving. I'm one of those nerds that will listen to the Halo soundtrack even while I'm driving. I think it's really cool to kind of do that, just the fact that the Mjolnir mix is really awesome. You get songs inspired by other bands that have created music for this game, like Incubus. You get Hoobastank that created a couple of different songs for the game, and you get some other artists that kind of contributed to that as well. And I think that Halo 2 is one of those video games that will go down as a legendary status, kind of like the legendary setting that's in this game, just because of the fact that it is that good. And I think that with Halo CE and Halo 2, they are my favorite video games of the franchise and stuff that I come back to from time to time. I think that whenever I'm having issues, whenever I'm kind of feeling down a bit, Halo CE and Halo 2 are my top two video game choice to kind of come back to, followed by Halo 3, even though I don't really like Halo 3 as much as I do with Halo CE and Halo 2. And I think that storytelling in this game is on par with anything like Uncharted, Gears of War, even God of War, and the other Sony classics that you kind of see viewing on this channel. So those are my overall thoughts of the game. It's a single player campaign. It also does have multiplayer, which is really great. I used to play a crap ton of the multiplayer with my friend on my original Xbox, which at the time when I was a kid, we had an Xbox, the OG Xbox, hooked up to my parents' theater room screen. It was basically like stadium seating inside of the theater, and then me and my friends would game for hours just playing Halo, some of the other Xbox exclusives, like some of the Xbox exclusives, as well as Splinter Cell. It was a really fun time because I literally just played Halo nonstop for hours, to the point where I could kind of memorize the game and kind of the beats, the story, and everything. And it's really one of those video games like Halo CE, Halo 3, and some of the other video games I played as a kid that really inspired me, as well as a lot of others, to kind of become sort of a filmmaker as well as a storyteller of my own, and kind of do world building, which I really do enjoy in terms of creating new stories and characters in a way. So Halo is really one of those video game franchises that facilitated that for me as a kid, as well as into adulthood, when I actually created screenplays and basically am a filmmaker in my right. So that is one of those video games that I think that everybody should play, because the storytelling in it is that great. If you want to become a filmmaker or a storyteller, or just write stories for games, or actually make make games. Halo, the Master Chief Collection, is definitely one of those video games that I think everybody should run through like at least once or twice in their own life. So those are my opinions of Halo 2 on sort of the original Xbox, as well as the Anniversary Edition, which is on Xbox Series S as well as Xbox Series X. Please let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of Halo, what you guys think of the other games in the Halo franchise, which Halo game is your favorite. Mine are obviously are Halo CE and Halo 2, because I feel like that's when Bungie actually cared about creating video games. They actually cared about, you know, the fans of their video games. I think that Halo 3 as well as Halo Reach was kind of when they're starting to plateau and kind of go down in terms of their storytelling and development cycle. I think that this game, while it did have issues in terms of development and creating sort of the world that is Halo, I think that what Bungie and the team did was revolutionary and something changed video games forever, because a lot of the elements like sort of dual wielding and just the basic gameplay mechanics as a whole are something that video games like Call of Duty, you know, even Killzone basically borrow for their own video game franchises. And so if you like the Halo video game and you want to explore other video games that are really similar to this, I think that if you like Halo 2, you basically spawned a new generation of gamers in game development. So those are my opinions of Halo 2 on sort of the Xbox Series S as well as Xbox Series X. As always, guys, rate, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
We've got a new contact, unknown classification.
It isn't one of ours. Take it out.
This is Spartan 117.
Anyone hear me? Over.
Isolate that signal. Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.